This is ExTiX 18.0, which is based on Ubuntu 17.10, and it uses the Deepin 15.5 desktop. This fills a gap in the Ubuntu collection, which doesn't now include an official Ubuntu Deepen, and this does a very good job of it on the whole. I had a little trouble with the installer. I gave it quite a job though, because I was installing this on partition number 12 of an external drive, and it installed it on the correct partition all right, but the grub bootloader did not install properly, and I had to update my existing grub to load it. Otherwise, I've had only a few problems. The whole system froze on me once, and occasionally I run across an icon where nothing happens when I click on it. But for the most part, it works well. I've installed a few applications that weren't here originally. I'll go over those. This is the launcher, and you have this typical array. If you click on this symbol up here, you get a categorized version: Internet, video, graphics, Office. There isn't really much Office, just LeafPad. Development and the system. Now if you click on this little symbol at the far upper right with the two little arrows pointing to one another, you get this compact version. All apps, Internet, video, graphics, Office, development, system. And you find if you use your down arrow, this scrolls down to a lot more items than you originally see, but there's no scroll bar. And you have to use your up arrow to go back. Let me close that for a moment. Now this item here is a show desktop, and this is the multitasking view. You can see that it shows my simple screen recorder on desk number 1, even though it's minimized. Originally, ExTiX came with the same hummingbird on all 4 workspaces, so I changed those. Now these were the only 4 desktops available by default. I'm sure you can install others. And to change the desktop background, I simply right-clicked, and where it said Set Wallpaper, I clicked on that. The original Deepen comes with many more backgrounds. I'm sure I can get more, but these were the 4 that were available. So this is the control center. By the way, don't get it confused with this. This is the Refracta installer. I don't know why it's still there, since this has been installed on hardware, and I'm going to remove it by right-clicking and saying undock. Here we are back at the control center. It generally goes back to what you were using when you close it, and I was using sound, so that's why it's open here. If you want to go to the opening array here, you have accounts, display, default applications, personalization, that's appearance, networks, Bluetooth, sound, time and date, power management, mouse and touchpad, keyboard and language, and system information. So if I click on appearance, for instance, there aren't really too many themes. There's one. I assume there's a way of getting more. As for icon themes, there's quite a few now. One of the problems I've had with the Deepen control center in the past is that scrolling down can be a problem. So I'm just going to use the down arrow, and that works much better. And as you can see, the current icons are Deepen default. Now I'm going to change this so that it's always visible. Keep shown. So now when I go back to the control center, we can look at some of these icons. That's Deepen default. This is humanity. Humanity dark, login icons, papyrus, C has a nautical theme, Deepen default, of course, Ubuntu mono dark, and Ubuntu mono light. It couldn't tell much difference between those. And then down here we have the cursor theme. Deepen default seems to be the only choice. I'm not going to go through all of these. They're very similar to Deepen itself. The only thing that's slightly different from the last time I used Deepen is that there's no way to change the repositories in the control center. And as I discovered, there's no apparent way to change them at all. So if you go back from this, you get this opening screen. If you want to leave the control center, just click on the desktop and it goes away. And it has Firefox 57. This is the LX terminal and the Synaptic Package Manager. Let me change these icons again. Back to Deepen default. This is the file manager, PCman FM. And this is Simple Screen Recorder, which I added. This says disk, but it gives you a menu of all of the connected disks. Now this is the wireless connection, and it worked perfectly. As you can see, I'm connected. I guess you have to click on the background to get rid of these things. This is the system tray. Gives you a little Simple Screen Recorder indicator and a little wireless indicator. This looks like the power manager. It says charged 100%, but when you open it, it's the shutdown routine, and it also lets you start the system monitor, and it doesn't have any cancel button. So I just click on the desktop again. And this is the time and date. It really doesn't do anything when you click on it. And this is the trash. As with regular Deepen, you can change this bottom panel, and I'm going to change it to efficient mode, which is more like a regular panel. And as you can see, it now has a real system tray over on the right, which I like much better. And the location can be changed: top, left, right, bottom. And the size can be changed within a limited range. It's from large to medium to small. It came with medium originally, and I made it small. I'd like to have it actually a little smaller, but those are the options. Status, keep shown, keep hidden, and smart hide. If I were using it as a dock, I would use smart hide, but since I have it as a panel, I'm going to say keep shown. And here under hide, it lets you hide certain things like sound, date and time, network, and power. I'm going to leave them all visible. When it comes to task switching, that's always my main concern with highly graphical interfaces. But this multitasking view makes it fairly simple. Now I'm going to load down these different workspaces, and I'll pause the video until I get them loaded, and then we'll get back to this. All right, so now I've got all of these 4 workspaces loaded. I have simple screen recorder on this one, but it's minimized. I also have the Deepen terminal, which is different from the LX terminal. And that's minimized also, so I'm going to unminimize it. There's the Deepen terminal. When I pull it over to the left, it fills up half the screen. Same when I pull it over to the right. When I pull it over to the top, it fills the whole screen. I'm going to leave it on the right here. Now when I go to my workspace switcher, multitasking view, I can see everything that is in every workspace, whether it's minimized or not. Simple screen recorder is minimized, but I can see it here, and I can also see it up here. When I go to this workspace, I have the calendar. When I go to this workspace, I have the Guinea text editor and the LeafPad text editor. Now, this doesn't really show the orientation on the screen because, as you can see, I have Guinea over on the right and LeafPad over on the left. And on the 4th workspace, I have Mozilla Firefox open to the Google search page. So switching these is very simple. And of course, if I wanted to add another one, I could. But I'm going to close it. Now you can see I can also close applications from this view. I'm going to close the Deepen terminal for now. And of course, Simple Screen Recorder is minimized. Now I'm going to pause the video again and clear out some of these spaces. So let's take a quick look at the installed applications. So under Internet you have Firefox. Under Video you have the Deepin Screen Recorder, Deepin Voice Recorder, and Simple Screen Recorder, which I installed. Under Graphics you have Deepin Screenshot, Deepin Image Viewer, GIMP, Image Manipulation Program, and Image Magic. Under Office you have LeafPad, period. That's a text editor. I'm going to install LibreOffice later. Under Development you have Geany, text editor, and the icon browser. And under System you have quite a bit: the Deepen Terminal, Computer, Show Desktop, Trash, Control Center, Multitasking View, Printers, Deepen Calendar, Gparted, Additional Drivers, Archive Manager, the Deepen Package Manager. By the way, the Deepen Package Manager is just this thing, drag and drop files here. I think it's something like the GW Package Manager. Here you can select a file. It's not the Deepen Store. So we have the Deepen System Monitor, Desktop Preferences, File Manager, PCMan, FM. Now there's more here. You have to scroll down. I use my cursor. You have the iBus Preferences, the LX Terminal, that's different from the Deepen Terminal, Language Support, Network Connections, Refracta Installer. I don't know why they left the installer in place in the installed application, but they did. Refracta Snapshot. I think that's for taking a snapshot of your system as you change it, and I'm not set up to do that. Software, I installed Ubuntu software. It did not come by default. And the Deepen Store is not available from Ubuntu. Now it has something called Software and Updates. Whenever I've clicked on that, nothing happens. Synaptic Package Manager came by default, and this text editor, which is different from the LeafPad text editor, and this one is gedit. It basically has three text editors: gedit, LeafPad, and Geany. But it has no Office software other than LeafPad. So I'm going to install LibreOffice, and I'm going to use the Ubuntu software that I installed. I don't know exactly where to find it. Productivity. Takes a while for this to populate. And it does have LibreOffice. I'm going to install the whole suite. Install. Enter my password and confirm. This may take a while, so I'm going to pause the video. So now LibreOffice is installed. Has this nice search function. And there's LibreOffice. It doesn't have any of the installed components. It just has LibreOffice. It just has the LibreOffice meta package without the packages. Clicking on these does nothing. So it looks like we're going to have to install all those at once. Now, rather than do that, I'm going to go to Synaptic, just right here. Search for LibreOffice. This shows that it's not installed. So I'm going to mark it for installation and see what happens. And you can see all the little LibreOffice applications are included. Click on Mark. And Apply. And then Apply. Now, again, I'm going to pause the video because this will take a while. All right, so it's installed. I can close the window. Now let's see if it's actually there this time. Yeah, I have the whole LibreOffice suite now, not just the meta package. And unlike the GNOME desktop, I can read the entire name of the application. What happens when I make that more compact, we'll have to see. I can still read everything perfectly. I've just had one other problem. It's a little bit annoying. Reopen Synaptic. When I look under Settings and Repositories, nothing happens, nothing appears. I can't do anything with the repositories here. And as I said before, when I click on Software and Updates, nothing at all happens. In order for me to find out the repositories, I had to open my terminal. You make this a bit bigger. I'm going to type sudo gedit / etc / apt /sources period list, press enter. There are the repositories. There's quite a few of these, and some of them are not installed but can be installed. By the way, I'm going to be careful not to change this, and it warns me that it didn't. Now, there were some hot corners enabled. When you right-click on the desktop, you can go down here to corner settings. And as you can see right now, I have none enabled. You don't have quite the selection you have with regular Deepen, but you have fast screen off, control center, all windows, launcher, desktop, and none. And this little animation shows you how to get to them and set them. But I disabled all of them, and I'm going to leave it that way. So that's ExTiX 18.0. As I said, I had a few problems with it. I wouldn't recommend it for the absolute beginner, because you have to know a little to get out of these problems. But for an intermediate user, it's a wonderful way of getting both Ubuntu 17.10, the latest version, and the latest version of the Deepen desktop 15.5. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.